આપણી સાથે સુપ્રજીત એન્જિનિયરિંગના फाउंडर અને चेयरमैन के अजित कुमार राय जोड़ाई रहा है। सर जी, सबसे पहले तो बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका CNBC बाजार पर एंड सबसे पहले हैप्पी न्यू ईयर टू यू एंड ऑल ऑफ द टीम of Suprajit Engineering from CNBC Bajar and whole of our viewers and team. Sir, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and thank you for having me on your channel. New Year to you as well as to your viewers. Thank you.
Thank you. Feelings are the same. So, sir, first of all, we would like to understand is the PLD, that is the Phoenix Lamps division. We are looking at some improvements in the margin. What kind of expectations are you having from the PLD department, sir?
PLD is a business which is regarding our halogen business that had gone, had a nice growth over the years. But as you know, halogen lamps are getting replaced with LEDs. So there has been certain amount of margin pressures in the last couple of years. What we have done is a significant improvement in operational efficiencies. We have done significant improvement in our purchasing. We've done significant improvement in utilization of materials and value engineering. Because of this, I think we have been able to improve our margin from the double digits. The margins have dropped to low single digits, and from this quarter onwards, we have given in our business update, हमारा तो margin improve हो जाएगा, and that is what we are expecting to happen in this quarter. So we expect that margin profile to improve from now on and going forward.
तो ये जो सर हमने लाइट ड्यूटी केबल जो एक्विजिशन किया है डिवीज़न का, पर्टिकुलरली एलडीसी डिवीज़न का जो कॉन्सबर्ग में, ये बहुत मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि इम्पोर्टेंट एक्विजिशन है आपके ग्लोबल प्रेजेंस को और आगे बढ़ाने के लिए। सो अजित सर, ये समझाइए थोड़ा सा, बिकॉज वी हैव सीन ग्लोबल प्रेजेंस के बारे में, और उसमें भी जो केबल्स डिपार्टमेंट है बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग जगह पर है। थोड़ा समझाइए क्या स्ट्रैटेजी रही है इसके पीछे सर।
हाँ, LDC एक बहुत important acquisition है हमारे लिए. It is a marquee acquisition, not just because of the size of the acquisition, but also because of the geographic footprint that we are able to get because of this acquisition. Thanks to this acquisition, we have now the manufacturing plants है, China में है, Hungary में है. We have it in US as well as in Mexico. इसके वजह से हमारा ये global position in cables में अभी in the top 2 हो गए हैं. We are the top 2 in the world in the cable business. And also, we have been very dependent on Indian market all these years. With this acquisition, our global business outside of India will be about 55%. And India business will be only 45%. So, we are also de-risking a country-specific risk in the process. So, from multiple reasons, also, we are getting a lot of new customers and new business segments. And in the process, we are becoming a, what we call as a full range cable provider for the automotive and non-automotive industry, and having footprints across the world. So that gives us a strong ability to grow further in our business and get better share of market in this very challenging times.
Okay, sir, but Ajit sir, I would like to understand also one point is here that the currency volatility have been very, very high this year, and again the depreciation in rupee, in all of other currencies in terms of dollar, we have seen it was very huge. ये क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन लगा रहे हैं आप 23 से, और अब तक में जो ये एबिटा लॉस हमने देखा था, ये एलडीसी ने जो पोस्ट किया था, उसको आगे कैसे टर्न आउट होते हुए आप देख रहे हैं सर?
I think we have given a projection saying that in the first couple of quarters it will be negative margin, and that going forward it will turn around by end of this financial year, and that by end of next financial year we will be into double-digit margins. That guidance still holds. जो हमने बोला है वही है. It will still, we are expecting it to go to $100 million US business next year, and also the margins to certainly improve. Now to double-digit by end of next year. So in terms of the forex, in terms of the currency fluctuations, I think it is particularly Indian rupee has depreciated quite badly. But fortunately for us, I think when we look at our net impact in terms of our imports and exports, net currency exposure in dollars is very minimal. So I think we do not have much of an impact thanks due to this depreciation. About the other currencies also, it's a similar situation. We typically, being a global business, we hedge our currencies against possible such depreciations or appreciation, and we have a reasonably good cover in terms of forward as well. Wherever we have exposure in any specific currency.
Okay, sir. So now what kind of margins should we expect? Because PLD division also, what kind of improvement in margins, and also in looking at the terms of LDC, since we spoke about the currencies and all the things are gradually improving. तो किस प्रकार के margins आप expect कर रहे हैं, sir?
I think what we have guided and we continue to guide the same way is that on our consolidated business, ex LDC, without LDC, we expect to have an EBITDA margin of 14% plus minus 1% or whatever. That has been our guidance all these years, and we continue to hold that guidance. And despite all these global challenges in terms of currency fluctuations, in terms of component issues, in terms of global slowdown itself, we continue to expect to grow our business at least 5 to 10% faster than Indian growth, as well as clock the EBITDA margins, as I said just now, without LDC. And LDC over the next 15 months or 18 months, as we said, by end of next year, will be 100 million business with the double-digit margins.
Okay, sir. So we have talked about margins. Now, what kind of revenues are also you expecting? Because आपने जैसे बताया कि guidance के साथ ही जा रहे हैं. So revenues भी क्या almost in line है, और जो capacity expansion की बात थी, addition की बात थी, जैसे मुझे बोलना चाहिए कि capacity addition वगैरह की बात थी, वो कैसे आप देख रहे हैं सर यहाँ से आगे? अजीत जी.
I think our consolidated business will continue to grow at least in double digit in this year. Of course, it will be much higher thanks to the acquisition. We continue to expect to grow the business in double digit this year and hopefully next year as well.
एंड ऑल्सो आफ्टर मार्केट जो ऑपरेशंस हैं हमारे केबल ऑपरेशंस पर्टिकुलरली, उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा समझाइए कि बिकॉज किस प्रकार के रेवेन्यूज आप यहाँ पर एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं और इसको कैसे आप धीरे धीरे स्ट्रीमलाइन करने की कोशिश करेंगे?
One of the reasons we are able to outperform, industry, actually, Indian automotive industry will have probably a negative growth because the two-wheelers are not growing, having a negative growth, although passenger vehicles are growing well. So actually, Indian automotive industry is not growing, and we are still saying that we'll grow more than double digit this year. That is largely because we have been able to get, of course, a slightly better margin, slightly better sales in OEM, but largely also due to aftermarket. Both at the finished lamps division as well as at the cable division, our team has done exceptionally well, and which has led us to sort of, increase our share of business in the market. Thanks to also grey market operators going away because of the, strict GST, monitoring, etc., which is also helping us. And the brand itself is established pretty well, and we have got a solid pan-India, network of distributors, which is helping us to penetrate the rural markets as well very well, which is why our aftermarket growth has been, very good, which is helping us to grow our business as well.
Definitely, sir. And also we are looking at some steady numbers of your revenues and your EBITDA margins. So let's discuss about the capacity expansion spends, because you have given the guidance of 1.4 billion rupees of capacity expansion spends. How much has been done? How are you following it up?
I think we have guided, about 140 crores of capex over the 2-year period. That is this year and next year.
Yes.
This is into multiple buckets. One bucket is the electronic division and Suprajit Technology Center. I think we have spent, probably about 30-40 crores in that particular division in terms of establishing the production and facilities. That has gone into production now. And in terms of the rest of the money, I think we are setting up a brand new cable plant, a large cable facility in Bangalore, and also adding some facilities in another cable plant within Bangalore. So they are all in the final stages. So they will again, take about 40, 50, 60 crores in this year. And balance capex is for the next year. We're also hoping to do some more, capacity additions in our group. So that will probably go into next year. So out of the 140, I think we'll probably spend about 80, 90 crores this year, and balance will be spilled over into the next year.
ओके, नेक्स्ट सर हमें इस बारे में बात करनी थी। जस्ट बेसिकली जो हमारे रॉ मटेरियल हैं, ऑब्वियसली काफ़ी ज़्यादा वॉल्टिलिटी वहाँ पर भी रही है प्राइसेस वगैरह में। मेटल देख लीजिए आप, केबल के लिए जो रॉ मटेरियल्स है उसके बारे में भी देख लीजिए, तो ऑब्वियसली बहुत ज़्यादा वॉल्टिलिटी यहाँ पर रही है। नंबर वन कि आपके प्राइसेस आप देख रहे हैं कि स्टेबल होते हुए नज़र आ रहे हैं या नहीं, और दूसरा मेटल में बहुत ज़्यादा वॉलेटिलिटी है, सो सोर्सिंग क्या आप इंडिया से ही कर रहे हैं कि बाहर से भी कुछ मेटल आप खरीद रहे हैं सर?
First of all, I think the material shortage situation in our business is not there, although electronic components are still at a short
Okay.
supply and we still use some of the electronic components, which is a challenge. But overall, other than that, I think the material shortage position is eased, and I think the prices have come down from the peak. I think these are the two things that have happened. In terms of how it will affect us, we have as far as the OEMs are concerned, when there's a price increase, they give us a price increase. When there's a price reduction, we have to also pass it back to them. So it is basically as a pass-through mechanism most of the times, at least from Indian OEMs side of it. So I feel that that pressure of materials shortage and pricing is over at the moment.
ओके, एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ डिमांड सिनेरियो आर यू लुकिंग एट? बिकॉज हमने देखा है कि बहुत सारे कंपनी जो है वो ऑटो कंपोनेंट्स में, मतलब पर्टिकुलरली चिप शॉर्टेज की वजह से उनके थोड़े से ऑर्डर जो है वो बैकलॉग चल रहे हैं। मोस्टली सारी बड़ी कंपनियों का अगर हम देखें तो ऑर्डर लिस्ट जो है वो बहुत लंबा है, और वेटिंग लिस्ट जिसे बोलते हैं वो काफ़ी लंबा है। सो आपके वहाँ से सप्लाई के साइड पे कैसा सिचुएशन चल रहा है, एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ डिमांड आर यू एक्सपेक्टिंग सर?
If I speak about the two-wheeler business, I think it is not really affected that much by the chip shortage. And there's basically a demand issue, at least at the entry-level motorcycles and scooters. There is, issue of sales. So there is not really much of a problem of production, but there's a problem of sales problem. The higher end of motorcycles and two-wheelers are basically doing pretty well. Now, coming to the passenger vehicle, I think what you said is absolutely right. The demand is much more than what is being produced by the OEMs. The reason for the lower production is largely because of the electronic chips. I think there is still an issue with many of the OEMs, which is adding to the backlog of requirement in the market. For example, today there is a large waiting period for most of the mid and high end cars. Only at the lower end it's probably available. It's all because at the higher end vehicles there are more number of chips or sensors are used, and manufacturers are preferring them to make the ones which is easier to manufacture and which requires less sensors. So I suppose that way the higher end or mid and higher end segments have a huge backlog at the moment.
Definitely, sir. And one more last question from my side. Outlook 23, because that is the theme currently, and we are asking each and every management to share their outlook, their perspective of 2023. What kind of expectations are you having from 2023, sir?
We don't really give a guidance as such, but I can talk about a general view. I think 2022 has been a very challenging year. Thanks to chip shortage, thanks to resurgence of COVID. I'm talking about our global business because, as I said, 55% of our business is outside of India. So from an overall point of view, 2022 has been a very challenging year. COVID, slowdown, recession, and in India, of course, two-wheelers not doing all that well. Now, going forward in 2023, we expect some of these situations to continue. The recession is still a threat. The high interest rate is an issue. And we're seeing that the automotive guys are not producing as much as they used to produce, let's say, 2-3 years ago. So the numbers are expected to come down. Similarly, in India, I think the interest rates are high. So how it will impact the actual manufacturing of the cars or two-wheelers is yet to be seen. And more than that, I think the general demand scenario is still an issue even in India. Having said all this, I think as far as Suprajit is concerned, we have significant new businesses. We have won some very good, very lucrative contracts with multiple OEMs globally and in India. And that is going to help us in growing our business. So despite what we see as a global recession, I think Suprajit is likely to grow pretty decently in 2022.